or just at the end?
Oh, yeah. Well, I could chunk it out. Transportation is here for, they got a number of folks that get recognized. So I'm seeing at least 5 or 6 of those chairs. Transportation folks that get folks that support. Now, I don't know if we got folks who want to.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Amy Matizik, and I'm the Internal Communications Manager for School District 49, and I'm so pleased to be here tonight to share another fantastic 49 presentation with you. With the end of this current school year almost coming to an end, I personally am going to be wrapping up my 4th year within District 49. And I share that because I came to D49 from outside of the industry, from outside of education. So my perspective and my experience with school districts was really as a parent. And as a parent, I knew that teachers play a huge role in the success of students in a school district. But what I didn't really know until I got here and could actually see it for myself is how there are so many different roles in addition to teachers that contribute to the success of a school district, so many different positions. And one of those areas and departments of support is transportation. Tonight for Fantastic 49, we are going to be celebrating 6 staff members, all from the transportation department. All of these nominations came in from different individuals. They came in at different times over the last couple months, so it was all organic that people were thinking about wanting to honor these different individuals. And as you meet them tonight, you will see that they all go the extra mile, whether it's for students or for colleagues. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to tonight's Fantastic 49 honorees. The first 2 team members from transportation that we would like to honor really stepped up when safety was at stake for a particular student. They quickly jumped into action when they learned there was a student missing from one of our elementary schools. Here to share the story about bus driver Jim Coker and Felicia Wagner, one of our dispatchers, is the Director of Transportation, Jack Petrallo, who nominated them.
Thanks, Amy. Thank you. So I have a quick story here. Back on January 28th, about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, we received a ready op alert stating we had a missing 2nd grade student from a school. Once notified, transportation dispatcher Felicia Wagner directed all the buses in the vicinity of the missing student to start searching and would not let up on the search until the student was found. Using Felicia's direction, bus driver Jim Coker spotted the reluctant student and was able to convince him to board his school bus. Jim then transported him back to school safely. These 2 exemplary transportation employees are a prime example of commitment to our students' safety and to the service of our community. There is no quit in them when it comes to supporting our students and keeping them safe. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Felicia. I forgot to call you guys up here first.
And Jim and Felicia, you're welcome to share any comments that you would like as well.
I would have to say that Felicia did an awesome job putting out the word, and clear and succinct. We knew what we needed to do, and any bus driver would have done what I did. They're all great people to work with.
I just want to say my drivers and paras are wonderful, and they found this little boy before the police or sheriffs did.
exit over. We'll grab your picture. Congratulations to Jim. Congratulations to Felicia. And thank you, Jack, for sharing that story. The next staff member that we would like to honor is a bus driver, but she has also served in different roles in the transportation department, including bus paraprofessional. She is being recognized tonight for her positive attitude, as well as her knack for building relationships with both colleagues and students. Here to help celebrate Yolanda Baird is Linnea Brown, the Transportation Personnel Manager.
Hi. Okay, everybody, this is Yolanda. Yolanda served in the U.S. Army for 20 years as a first-class sergeant. I wanted everybody to congratulate her on that, her career in the Army. Thank you for your service. Yolanda follows many aspects of the cultural compass, but innovation, respect, care, and trust are really highlighted by Yolanda. Yolanda comes to work each day with a beautiful smile and a positive attitude that shines onto others. Parents and students love and appreciate her diligent work effort and positive attitude. Yolanda started with our district as a bus paraprofessional during the school year 2018 and 19. She knew how the department was hurting for drivers, and after talking to others, she decided to advance her career and become a school bus driver for this school year. Thank you, Yolanda. You're welcome. Right? Thank you all. Thank you all.
Congratulations again to Yolanda, and thank you, Linnea, for sharing those remarks. Our next honoree tonight from the Transportation Department again is a trainer for the department, and she too has served in different roles, including bus driver as well as assistant router before serving in her training role. While working in training, she put together a number of Google Classrooms so that both new and current drivers within the department would have different training opportunities available to them. She was nominated by two different individuals, Shauna Orth, the operations manager, and also Patty Mize, the transportation training supervisor. And Patty is here to share some comments about Tanya.
Hello. This is Tanya. Tanya began her career with the district in April of 2016. She began as a driver, then moved into an assistant router position, and then found her niche in the training department in 2018. I can honestly say that Tanya shows and exhibits every trait of the culture compass. I am myself and Shauna are nominating Tanya for the Fantastic 49 for innovation and teamwork. Since the beginning of the training department, she has created multiple Google Classrooms. That has improved the training environment immensely. Through the whole COVID thing that was going on and stuff, and trying to get training out to our existing staff, it helped immensely. I lost my place, sorry. For someone who has never worked or done anything with Google Classroom platform before, she self-taught herself and made the training department a more efficient environment. Every day she continues to show her dedication and teamwork within the department. Thank you. Thank you for your motivation and good work.
All right, congratulations again to Tanya, and thank you so much to Patty for sharing those remarks as well. Our final two honorees for tonight were nominated by a parent. And I don't think she walked in yet. Raise your hand if you're here. I want to make sure I don't miss her. She is a mom. Rebecca Stewart is her name, and she is a mom of 5, including 2 students with special needs. So as much as she wanted to be here, she was honest and said, I'm going to do my best, but I'm also a very busy mom. But I know that she is very sincere with this nomination because she took time to actually write it up and submit it herself. But she wanted to share gratitude for these 2 staff members because of the kindness and care that she showed to them, to her son. And her son is, like I mentioned, he's one of them that has special needs, and he also has a dog. He lost this dog, which is also a support animal to him, and these 2 transportation members stepped up to help find it. So to tell us more about this story, about these 2 individuals, is the Director of Transportation, Jack Petrello.
I'm going to bring these guys up this time because I forgot the first time. This is Kimmy Sherman, Paula Pratt. So Ms. Stewart emailed me. This is all the way back in February. I believe it was February 9th. And I received this email one morning and shared it with my leadership right away. And I'm just going to read pretty much verbatim what Ms. Stewart wrote. I need to take the time to tell you about and give credit to the bus driver and para for my son Kai. The driver's name is Paula and the para's name is Kimmy. Last week, Kai's 2 support dogs were stolen. He was devastated. These women, on their own time, on the weekend, looked and spread the word that these dogs were missing. They really actively helped Kai and us through it. Dogs are more than dogs with our 2 special kids. I have never seen staff care more about a kid and his dogs. It brought our whole family to tears to see how cared for our son is. He starts his day and ends his day with these drivers and paras. And I have to say, they make all of our days happier. Please thank them for all of us, not just for the help, but for caring about my son that much. We are so grateful for the hearts of the staff. Rebecca Stewart.
Congratulations again to Paula and also to Kim for truly making a difference to our students. It's that care that we can provide in our district that really makes us different and truly fantastic. Before we do wrap up, I would like to turn it over to the Board of Education President, Mr. John Graham, for any final remarks.
I wanted to thank you all for being here and participating in this wondrous event we call Fantastic 49. It really does showcase our star performers, and I do want to say that all of our employees, staff, teachers, are star employees. They're performers, and they are always going the extra mile, as shown here, to take care of our kids. Even though we're not able to necessarily recognize everyone with a plaque, I like to take this opportunity to say not only thank you for all that you do, and especially on these specific occasions, but thank you to all of our employees for the things you do that go unnoticed. Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing without people, noticing, but D49 employees do the right thing constantly without ever getting noticed or acknowledged. And I want to take the opportunity now to say thank you to those here, but thank you to all those throughout the district that always go above and beyond what it takes to keep our kids safe and keep them in a very positive learning environment. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. And thank you and congratulations again to all of our honorees tonight. We know that it is staff like the ones you met tonight, as well as so many more, like Mr. Graham said, across the district that make District 49 fantastic. And that concludes our presentation.
So we do have 15 minutes between now and when we start our regular session. Board members, feel free to go out into the fantastic 49 crowd and say thank you in person. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 6:30. Welcome to the Thursday, April 8th, 2021 regular Board of Education meeting for District 49. Wanted to remind everybody in attendance we had a wonderful, fantastic 49, recognizing many members of the Transportation Department and all the actions that they've done recently. May I have a roll call, please?
Butcher,
Here.
Cruzen,
Here.
Graham,
Here?
Van Weeren.
Here.
Okay, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to recognize our Student Board of Representative, Shelby Gabrielson from Vista Ridge High School. Welcome. May I have a motion for approval of agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? May I have a vote, please?
Butcher,
Aye.
Cruzen,
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Van Weeren.
Aye.
Motion passes. Before we move on to the consent agenda, just going to make a motion about masks that, to my knowledge, there's still a mask requirement within schools for those who do not have a medical reason. So we would appreciate if you do honor that. And now for the consent agenda.
I move to approve all consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm a little sad. Mr. Gross is retiring from Vista Ridge. I saw that and I just kind of warmed my heart. So, warmed my heart and saddens me at the same time. Just thought I'd say that. I almost thought about voting no on it, so.
Okay, may we have a vote, please?
Butcher,
Aye.
Cruzen,
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Van Weeren.
Aye.
Okay, now we're on to the Board of Education update. Mr. Cruzen, would you like to go first? Go out of order here.
That surprised me.
Jazzing it up a little.
Yeah, I suppose. Thank you for that. Actually, Mr. President, I have nothing to report. How's that, Mr. Butcher? Top that.
Kevin?
Well, since Dave didn't talk, I will. Spring is here. I was on the student board call a couple days ago, and it was very clear that the only person that had spring fever worse than the student board, not of agreement, right, was me. And I have spring fever because I'm about done with this. I'm termed out this fall, and I'm going to use this moment to say my board seat is open, and we're looking for somebody to fill it. And that's pretty much somebody from the southwestern part of the district, kind of carefree south here, and would encourage participation from the community. It's a fun job, and it's not all that thankless, but it is a good thing to do. And that's it. I overtalked myself for a change.
What number district are you from?
District 5, but it just sounds too much like the Hunger Games when I say it that way.
Yeah, we've been mentioning this almost every meeting, that there will be 3 district seats open. There is one right now that is open for application due to the resignation of John Coster, who moved out of the district. So we are taking applications up until, I believe, 16 April, and I will cover that a little bit more during the board update. Rick?
I have nothing to report.
Oh, my goodness. So I got to take up the next 2 hours with what I got to say?
No, you got to follow the example.
Okay. So just so everybody knows that our special education department puts out a Stars News article, and I hope that goes to everyone. It's basically 4 pages about special education and stuff like that happening within our school district. They had a Braille Challenge Day. They've had Jonathan Mooney, who's a motivational speaker and someone who did not learn to read until 12th grade, and now he's a huge success once he learned to read. There's a video up for staff that is available to them if they need or want to see that to get motivated. And I'm going to steal a little of Peter's thunder. Senator Bennett visited, I believe this morning, Horizon Middle School, and had a nice visit with staff and teachers. And so I wanted to just point that out. And then we will be interviewing Director District 4 candidates at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, April 21st. And anybody who is interested and lives in District 4, there's some minimum requirements, and Ms. Garza here is the point of contact as the elector or as our official that collects the packages and stuff like that if you're interested in applying. But those packets are due on April 16th, and then we will interview the candidates on Wednesday the 21st, and then we will make an appointment on April 28th, dependent on receiving packets. I think we have one packet in the office now, and then that will be appointed by special meeting at 5:45 on April 28th, which is our next work session. Reminder for all of our chief officers and board members, including our student board of representatives, to fill out your meeting forms. And just so you know, I've asked our lawyer to review the latest governor's mask mandate and with our chief officers and the, what do they call that, the COVID-3 thing? COVID dial, number 3, to make sure that we know what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, kind of thing. Remember that we are a governmental organization as a public school, and we do follow governor's guidelines. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our chief officers for their update, starting with Pedro.
Really mixing it up tonight.
I am. Got a big audience today.
I will. The only comment I'll make is I'm very pleased that tonight's an operations-themed board meeting. I've started off with the transportation recognitions, and great work on the part of that entire team. And you will see a couple of updates coming tonight. In fact, you'll have 3 department updates coming tonight from operations. So I will save the time for those discussions with each of those department leaders.
Great. Brett, you're always in the middle, so.
I'm always second, no matter which way you go. We started our annual cycle of rollout meetings where we go around to buildings and departments and communicate the results of our VAL surveys and our VAL learning tours and how that translated through strategic objectives that we worked on together with the board. And so that's a great experience always to be able to get out to the buildings and have some one-on-one conversations, because rounding is part of that as well. So that's been enjoyable as we're just getting started with that. In the business office, this is a time of year where we are just doing our typical behind-the-scenes work. HR is busy processing a lot of open positions, kind of a record number of open positions, really, because due to last year there wasn't very much movement as we would normally see, and so it kind of got pent up, and this year we're getting a little bit extra movement there. The finance department is working with the ESSER's money and the rules and the regulations that are coming along with that federal money, which is significant. Risk and benefits, she's working on the annual property and liability insurance renewal, these type of things. Community facility planning, you'll see Melissa tonight as well, but working on the capital project list and also starting to work on the planning for our new middle schools, that we're pursuing. Purchasing and contracts does a lot of support amongst all of those in terms of selecting vendors and updating contracts for annual basis that start in the new fiscal year. And even facility rentals. We are doing more facility rentals now, again, as things change and improve over time. So we're getting more and more activity in that. It's all just the typical behind the scenes work, and everyone's doing a great job at that. Thanks.
Excellent. Peter.
All right, I have a great series of things, mostly student focused, but a couple organizational. We had phenomenal results at the end of the competitive cheer season. So we had Vista Ridge High School's cheer team place second in the 5A division, and that's fantastic. Falcon also placed second in the 4A division in the co-ed category, so wonderful. Super want to acknowledge the support that families have to give, because that's a competitive event that requires really long, significant, extended support and presence at competitions, and that may be why Mr. Nancaro tells me that the post about their wins is our top liked post of 2021. So great accomplishment and achievement by the teams there. Some other information, these are students from Sand Creek High School. Elisa Clark was the recipient of the Daniels Foundation. The Daniels Foundation is incredibly competitive, over 2,000 applicants, and to be in the top 10% of an elite group of applicants is phenomenal testimony to Elisa and to the preparation and education she received at Sand Creek High School. So well done, very exciting to affirm. And as you know, there will be more of these affirmations coming during senior season as the students really reap the rewards of 12 years of effort and dedication. We also, in addition to great scholarship at Sand Creek High School, we had some great athletic results as well. Connor Morgan, who plays for the boys team, was named to the 4A All-State Basketball Honorable Mention list. And Nikki Durrell, who concluded a stellar career, set lots of records, scored over 1,000 points, has a bunch of 3 points in a game, totals, season records. She was named the second team All-State team for 4A. So they're doing things right in the classroom. They're doing things right on the court at Sand Creek. Very exciting to see. We also had a student from a program that we don't talk a lot about here, but at Spring Studio for Academic Excellence, because that is a multi-district online program, we can support students who need a very flexible schedule. And if you were spending 6 to 8 hours a day in a gymnastics gym working on your craft, you might appreciate a flexible schedule. And so I will speak on behalf of Ariana Leedy, who is a freshman at Spring Studio, who is part of that high performance program that we created, and who recently won the 2021 Colorado Level 9 State Championships while maintaining a 4.0 as a freshman in high school during COVID. So that seems like a pretty big deal, right? Congratulations. And a final student recognition, although I know I have Army and Marines represented here around the tables. This one is for Air Force. We have a student named Jazar Davis, also from Sand Creek, who has earned a full 4-year AFJROTC Character and Leadership Scholarship, which she will be taking with her up to CSU. So we're grateful she's staying in the state and proud again of the excellent work that reflects. So congratulations to all those students. You beat me by one to the applause, but don't hesitate. And I've got 2 final pieces of great news. One is that we really appreciated Senator Bennett stopping by Horizon Middle School today. He got a chance to sit with a team of support staff representing operations and educational support functions, as well as a team of educators, teachers in the classroom, interventionists, and other special providers. And as a former superintendent, he asked great questions. He listened very well. And it was very much as if the United States Senate was doing a learning tour, like we do with our VAL Learning Tour. So it was great to see. Horizon has been a really strong program. Part of the reason they were a finalist for Middle School of the Year is because of the way they've hung together and managed together through the pandemic. So it's really exciting that Senator Bennett got to interact with those teachers and other support staff. And finally, in news that will be very pleasing to many seniors and their parents, our partners at UC Health Field and the Vibes baseball team were able to secure the 5-star certification for our county health conditions, which means that graduates may invite up to 10, that's right, 10 guests to the ceremony in May. So that is a big win, worth a hand. And I am out.
That's awesome.
Excellent, because I know that was a question being asked around the Facebook and stuff, how many people, and I do want to make sure that our community knows that we are fighting for the students, to get them into graduation, get them educated, get them recognized, and get their families into those graduations. So I think 10 people And there may always be exceptions to that, but that's a pretty good number. So, Shelby, it's your turn. Do you have any updates for us from the Student Board of Representatives?
No.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Very wise and sage statement. That's good. So now, I have to turn the page of this multi-page agenda. Okay, so forum. Looking for the list.
Checking it twice.
Okay. Thank you. So we have more than our usual 10 people, because we allot 30 minutes for public forum. There are many entries for equity, white privilege, CRT, stuff like that, but there's also Spacious Skies Charter Schools. And I want to give everybody a fair opportunity to talk. So if there are, I'm going to ask the first group under Jim Robinson, who was a parent, and we typically do this when there's a lot of people to talk. If you guys know each other and are comfortable and have a similar message, you can all approach the microphone and share that message, in the 3 minutes. But if you still want your 3 minutes, okay, then, stay in your seat. But if you have a similar message, we'd like to try and get those people to speak together. Okay? So if you want to talk about white privilege, CRT, or the equity issue, or you come to the point where someone has said your message and you're okay with that, just let me know when I call your name and we'll move on to the next person. Okay, with that said though, we have some guidelines that we expect our speakers to speak or to follow. We appreciate and welcome comments on school board operations and programs in District 49 as part of tonight's open forum. We ask that your comments be made in a respectful and orderly manner. Personal complaints against any individual connected with the school system are prohibited. Follow-up actions may be assigned to the appropriate chief officer depending on the nature of the comments. In accordance with board policy BEDH, public participation is limited to 3 minutes per person. Thank you for participating in an open forum, and it also says it is the practice of the board to withhold any board comment or direction to the chiefs until after all who have signed up for open forum have had a chance to speak. And I'm going to add to that, that is important because some people get up there and speak and they want an immediate reaction from the board. Okay? Whatever the board's feelings are, we give the public their 3 minutes to speak. Okay? Because we feel that that is respectful to you to allow you that time. Okay? I would also like to make you aware of our stakeholder grievance process. This process can be initiated by anyone in our D49 community and guides the community member through the correct people to help resolve their concern, including as a final step, the opportunity formally to appeal to the board. We encourage you to utilize this process as many have successfully resolved their concerns this way. It's a very significant step, and I believe that Dr. Fletcher is the POC for the grievance process, or?
There's a form online.
There's a form online that you can fill out, and then it'll go to the appropriate level. Okay? So without further ado, Mr. Robertson, we ask that everyone who comes up states their name, their relationship to the district, and then we'll start the clock, and you have 3 minutes. When the 3 minutes is up, I'll say thank you. And if you're not finished, it may sound rude, but we only give the 3 minutes. Okay? So state your name and relationship to the district.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, D49 board members, chief officers. My name is Jim Robertson, retired Air Force. My wife and I have 3 children that have come up through District 49 school system. Had a great time. Very, very happy with the school system at the time. I'm here on behalf of many of us, on behalf of them, on behalf of thousands, I would dare to say, people who could not make it tonight. And We are deeply concerned with the path being taken by our district in regard to the equity, diversity, and inclusion training of our teachers, and subsequently, the exposure to our children. Let us please make no mistake. This is critical race theory. We brought it up at last meeting. We wish to continue our concern about this. It's critical race theory, what we consider it in sheep's clothing. And we greatly appreciate the opportunity to be heard tonight. This past December, the Heritage Foundation, probably the nation's premier think tank, published a 40-page report on critical race theory. I urge everyone to please go read that report. It's very eloquent, and it speaks to what is happening in our society and our country today. A few of the key takeaways from that report. Critical race theory makes race the prism through which its proponents analyze all aspects of American life. CRT underpins identity politics, which reimagines the U.S. as a nation riven by groups, each with specific claims on victimization. Thank you. CRT's intolerance can be found in schools, the workplace, the entertainment sector, normalizing belief in systematic racism for the average American. CRT racially charged material distracts educators and students away from rigorous learning content while also teaching ideas that undermine the value America's founding ideals. While we are spending so much time and effort teaching our children to hate each other, they fall further behind in math, reading, science, civics, and history. The study found just under half of all Americans cannot name all three branches of government. Pretty appalling. When one hears the terms white supremacy, privilege, and racism, which political party comes to mind? The following are historical facts that we need to be included in any of the district's history civics courses if we had not previously, if they've been omitted. Founded in 1829, the Democratic Party fought against every major civil rights initiative up and including 1964. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the KKK, imposed segregation, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of 50s and 60s.
Mr. Robinson, thank you.
Thank you.
If you have a written statement that you want to have it included for the record, please give it to me. You can approach.
Yes.
I mean, no one's keeping you from approaching, but you can provide it to me for the record, and we'll add it to the, thank you. Now I have Mr. Bruce Hutchinson.
Actually, it's Hutchins, sir.
Hutchins, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
You ready to go?
And we'll wait for you to announce your name, your relation to the district, then we'll start the clock.
Okay. Good evening, D49 board members, and thank you for your service, Major.
Can you say your name again?
My name is W. Bruce Hutchin, a resident of D49 who votes. I'm retired, have earned a master's degree, served as a search and rescue technician for the United States Coast Guard, and am a disabled veteran. It is my understanding that you plan to use white supremacy and white privilege teacher indoctrination training that is being promoted by critical race theory. The previous speaker has already talked about critical race theory, and so I'm not going to take that opportunity. But critical race theory is in every single school district across the United States. In my opinion, CRT is racist and Marxist and does not belong in any school system in the country. Earlier this week, I sent an email to the board and I didn't hear back, so I'm not even going to ask, can you define white supremacist and white privileged human being? Since there's no response, I'll continue. Here are some facts to consider about critical race theory. An early Republican Party's mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories and to abolish slavery. In 1857 case, Dred Scott versus Sanford, the Supreme Court ruled that slaves aren't citizens. their property. That's appalling. 7 Democratic judges voted for slavery. 2 Republican justices dissented. Slavery was ultimately resolved by the bloodiest war in our history, the Civil War. The commander-in-chief at that time was Republican President Abraham Lincoln, a white man who was responsible for freeing the slaves. Perhaps if Americans took time to hear each other, we could find common ground and do away with radical ideas, ultimately leading us to true unity and peace. But nothing can be further from the truth. Biden's Deputy Secretary of Education nominee, Cindy Martin, Unified School District Superintendent, who is one of the most radical superintendents in the country, touted diversity speaker Dr. Benita Love, who claims schools spirit murder black children. In closing, I look to the day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Martin Luther King. God bless America.
Thank you so much. If you want to include your written statement, Mr. Jim Riggs.
Thank you. Let me apologize for my sunglasses, but I had eye surgery yesterday. And if I can pull this up.
And please state your name and your relationship to the...
My name is Jim Riggs, and I have 3 grandsons in District 49. 1 has graduated, and 2 will be continuing their education in District 49. And I can't pull my thing up here. Oh, I apologize. Could you stop the clock a moment?
No, we can't, sorry.
Okay, well, see, I'll wing this. I'm an old white man, and that's good because I've spent 73 years on this planet surviving, and it's bad because I'm white. All of my grandparents were immigrants. They came to America, they learned the language, they became merchants, blue-collar workers. None of them ever owned a slave. And I was born in Sacramento, California. I went to school in the Grant Union School District. It was 37% black, 34% white, and the rest was Asian, Latino, 2 Hawaiians. And I graduated in 1965, and there were a lot of protests back then, but none in my neighborhood. There were no protests in my neighborhood, no riots, no marches. That's because we were not taught to hate. Racism in America is dividing it right down the middle. I apologize. Could you see if you could flip up notes for me? There was a radical Democrat by the name of John Wilkes Booth that assassinated Abraham Lincoln. And at that time, no, it won't work. The president that followed him was his running mate, Andrew Johnson, became president. He was a Northern Democrat. And he opposed the plan of Lincoln to allow the slaves to, first of all, have citizenship. After the slaves were freed, they were given citizenship. And that was opposed by Andrew Johnson. The Democrats voted against the 14th Amendment, which freed the slaves.
Excuse me, sir, time is up.
Oh, okay.
If you have a written statement, we can include it in the record. Jacob Medley.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Medley. I'm homeschooled, a junior in high school, and a former student of District 49. Gentlemen, I'm very concerned to learn that your district plans to expose students K through 12 to white supremacy and white privilege. Information that is not historically accurate and eliminates key racial issues. If allowed, this training will divide, not unite, the students of District 49 by not including important details. Sirs, from what I've learned about white supremacy and privilege, it appears to be a one-sided issue where the finger is being pointed directly at Republican whites, conservatives, and Christians, without looking into the facts that would make the information more accurate, unbiased, and stimulate critical thinking amongst District 49 students. If you, as a board, decide to allow the District 49 students to be told about this training, please consider including the following accurate historical data. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for newly freed slaves. Hundreds of black American men were elected to the Southern state legislators as Republicans. 22 black American Republicans served in the U.S. Congress by 1900. No black American Democrat legislators. Democrats did not elect a black American into Congress until 1935. After the Reconstruction ended and after federal troops were sent home, Democrats roared back into power in the South. Democrats reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of black Americans to own property and run businesses. Democrats imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subvert the black American citizens' right to vote. And how was this all enforced? By terror. Much of it instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest. Historian Eric Foner, himself a Democrat, notes, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Medley. God bless the United States. If you have a written comment you want to include for the record, please bring it forward. Thank you, sir. Semper Fi. Now we're on to, I believe it's Evan Kimes. Please come forward, state your name and your relationship to the district.
My name is Future Sailor Kimes. I'm a former student of D49 and now an older brother of two younger students. I'll be shipping out for Navy boot camp in August to be a nuclear power technician. I have 2 long years of schooling and training ahead of me before I'm even able to work my rate, and I'm told that 80% of the people don't even make it through. But ladies and gentlemen, that's taken a backseat to my new fears. I'm afraid that upon my return to my family, I'll find that my brothers will be changed. I fear that this white privilege training, designed to teach them that they are in debt to society because of the color of their skin, will crush their self-esteem and endanger their future. This is nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt by the radical left to alienate children from one another and essentially resegregate schools on a social level. The agenda is not unique to our day and age, however. Let us not forget it was Democratic President Woodrow Wilson that resegregated many federal agencies. He made history by screening the first ever film in the White House, his chosen movie, The Birth of a Nation, formerly entitled The Klansman. This racist trend continued long after his term, however. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 is marked as one of the greatest steps toward equality in the United States. 80% of the Republican Party supported the bill, while less than 70% of the Democratic Party showed approval. When it became clear that the bill would pass, the Democrats opted to filibuster the bill for 75 days before the Republican Party was finally able to push it through. The Democrats had lost their attempts at further oppression, so they turned to the very guile this new training embodies today. If they cannot keep black people from voting, they would make sure they voted for them. As President Lyndon B. Johnson turned his support to the Civil Rights Act, he was purported to have said, "I'll have those N-words voting Democratic for 200 years. So now the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing through white supremacy, white privilege, and hypocritical racism. Democrats claim that the Republican Party is the villain, when in reality it's the failed policies of the Democratic Party that have capped African Americans down. Massive government welfare has decimated black families, opposition to school choice has kept African Americans trapped in failing schools, and politically correct policing has left black neighborhoods defenseless against violent crime. I ask the school board that they not stand for this inherently racist indoctrination. Instead, teach children what really happened, who stood for racial equality when it mattered most, and who opposed them. Most of all, teach children that instead of white people being indebted to black people for the crimes of those long dead that looked like them, they should count themselves fortunate to live in a country where all people are equal, regardless of skin color or ethnic background. Thank you.
Thank you. Cecil Kaywood.
Hi, my name is Cecil Kaywood, and I'm a grandparent, and we're raising our 11-year-old granddaughter, and I think this white privilege thing is a total waste of money, and I just can't keep paying taxes on doing stupid stuff like this. So that's mine's short and sweet. I just think it's a waste of money.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina Bonniwell, a neighbor here, and this is my husband, Thomas Bonniwell. I apologize.
I'm sorry, is your name on the list?
Christina Bonniwell, right? It doesn't, right? You said we could come up even though our name isn't on the list?
No, you have to be on the list to speak,
You have to be on the
though.
list.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because
okay.
we have other people that want to speak about Spacious Skies as well. Which
Okay,
is
I thought
one
I
of
was
our
taking up
trustees.
part of Cecil's 3 minutes.
Once he's done talking, that's it. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Hall? Mr. Hall? We have to be consistent, otherwise, it'll be, every meeting will be. Okay, Mr. Hall.
My name is Jeffrey Hall. I'm a guest teacher at D49. Good evening, board members. Semper Fi, Major Graham.
Semper Fi.
Matthew 18:6. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it is better for him that a heavy millstone be hung around his neck and that he be drowned in the depths of the sea. Gentlemen, this negative dialogue is unnecessary. We have digressed to the point of one-upmanship over white supremacy, white privilege, and CRT. There is no need for it. In my world, when men and women disagree, we talk face to face. No political correctness, just frankness, respect, and love for the truth. Simply put, men and women openly collaborating to achieve a middle-of-the-road solution. This dialogue began over training that we regard as disrespectful and condescending to all races. We will not allow a one-sided opinion without an opposing view that affects kids. When it comes to kids, we give no quarter. However, this conversation can be turned around. In order to move forward, you must stop launching backroom plots. It doesn't help us move forward. Open up your hearts and minds to opposing views. We will reciprocate. But when an attitude exists of my way or the highway, I don't see any way to find common ground. Oddly enough, this topic has provided D49 leadership an opportunity to lead other districts nationwide. Instead of falling in line with districts in Colorado and around the country that are rubber stamping this vile white supremacy, white privilege CRT training, open it up to discussion of opposing views before it is launched. Set the example for the rest of the country. I am confident that these positive actions will have a ripple effect to other districts that just don't know how to proceed, maybe even DC. In other words, lead, follow, and get out of the way. Your leadership has the opportunity to display to kids how positive relationships really work. Shutting people down is not leadership. It is selfish, elitist, and reeks of arrogance. Gentlemen, set the positive example to children. Demonstrate that adults can work together to solve a problem by sitting down and getting this, talking like adults. Pitch the media en masse. Let's collaborate and do the best thing for the kids. We will stand by awaiting your prompt reply. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you. If you want to include your statement, Sabrina Ballister. State your name and your relationship to the district. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Sabrina Ballister. I am a homeowner and taxpayer in District 49. I'm also a community member who is concerned with what is happening in my school district. The others have given you some excellent facts and history about where racism has been really found in our nation's history. There's two important points I want to make with my time. The first is that I am opposed completely to this white supremacy, white privilege training to the teachers and staff. The first point, along with that, is as a taxpayer and a stakeholder in this, I don't want my husband and our hard-earned money to go to pay for something that is based on a distorted premise and will teach white children to feel bad about themselves just because they belong to the dominant race. That does absolutely nothing to heal racial division in our country. It only stirs it up and reopens old wounds. It will do far more harm than good. And ironically, it will hurt the very ones it claims to help. The second point I want to make is this. In the midst of COVID flurry, I'll give you the background. There's a master plan going, it's not conspiracy theory, but I come from the background, so I know what I'm speaking of. But in the midst of the COVID-19 flurry of activity, in the heavy hand of government control, progressive left groups, which is the modern Marxist of America, have seized this opportunity to push forward even more aggressive indoctrination of our children. This indoctrination is for the purpose of preparing America's next generation to fully buy into the lie of how wonderful socialism is. That's where where we are right now. But to get these children to fully believe this, they have to be told that America's history is not so great and really should be discarded. All summer, we've seen trying to discard our past and tearing down statues, all of those things. Critical race theory has been around since the 1970s and has recently gained considerable traction all across America. It is being taught in universities, and businesses are requiring their employees to attend classes for it. Relevant to us, it is finding its way into public schools. And make no mistake, it is a part of the white supremacy, white privilege is a part of CRT. To define for you what CRT is, I asked the Alexa app, it says it is a social science discipline involving the application of critical theory issues surrounding the interaction between racial dynamics and social and legal power. Now, if you got lost in that convoluted definition, don't feel bad. I had to research myself to understand what on earth they are talking about. Although it appears complicated, there are some overriding themes that come out as you research what this is. The first is that no matter how hard a person from the dominant white race in America tries to understand the negative racial experiences of a person in a minority race, it will be impossible for them to do so.
Thank you.
This theory has no room for reconciliation of the races or national unity.
Thank you. Time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to include your statement. Anna Mitchell. Thank you. State your name and your relationship to the district.
Hi, I'm Anna Mitchell. I'm a citizen and concerned grandparent. I have 3 grandchildren in this town, and I believe this training could filter through to the rest of the schools, and I oppose it. And I'm not wearing a mask because I have a medical condition, so I apologize for that. The CRT, critical race theory, has been explained, equity and inclusion type of training. I'm concerned, like I said, that it would go into other school districts like it has in the rest of the country. My concerns are that this training is being pushed by radical persons and is designed to pit students of color against white Caucasian students, and this is definitely racist. This training has no place in our public schools. Our schools should be focusing on bringing our students up to high standards of education, learning how to read, write, and do math, and be able to pass entrance exams in colleges, not focusing on extracurricular or extra strange ideas. Our high schools should be preparing students for adult life and provide insight into possible technical careers by offering technical courses, not critical race theory. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to include your statement. Thank you. Okay. At this time, we are approaching our 10th speaker concerning spacious skies. It is our practice to only allow 10 speakers. There are 4 other speakers signed up to talk about spacious skies, so I'm going to ask the board if they want to continue beyond the 10th speaker, or if Spacious Skies wants to come up front and, cover the topic that they're concerned about. And it would be Skylar Nelson.
Good evening. My name is Skylar Nelson, and I'm a parent. And this is my son's service dog, Ellie. I went to war at the age of 19. I came home from Iraq fighting for my life in an Army hospital. I've overcome many challenges in my life to be able to stand here tonight. I've suffered the loss of friends and family members, to include my only daughter. I've been through some challenges that seem impossible to overcome, but I somehow made it through. My biggest challenge today is raising 2 special needs little boys. When my oldest son was 2, he was diagnosed with autism. He didn't speak until he was 4 years old. He's now 6, and we need our village. He deserves a village that truly wants the best for him and his service dog. He deserves a great education and a school that feels like home. My youngest son turned 4 today. When he was 10 months old, he had his first seizure. If you've ever seen a child stop breathing and have a seizure, then you know how completely terrifying it is. He deserves a great education too, and not to be limited because of his epilepsy. He has more life in him than most of the kids I know. He needs a school where he can be loved and cared for if he has a seizure. He needs a teacher and a principal that understands him and that doesn't treat him as a burden. You have the opportunity to give Spacious Skies. You have the opportunity to give the special needs children in our community a great education and an environment full of love and compassion. When I met Dr. Evelyn, I knew that my children would be very well taken care of and in great hands. Spacious Skies is the answer for so many families like mine. I ask that you please think of my children when you consider the future of Spacious Skies Charter School. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. If you want to include your statement. So I must ask the board, there are 4 other speakers. Okay, I get a thumbs up from Kevin, a nod from Mr. Cruson, and a nod from Rick, even though they're supposed to be saying it over the microphone. So we will continue with Lay, and I'm going to Karis Skula? Leah?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. I think I'm
Sorry, Leah?
Leah. Oh, Leah. She's going to yell. Can I go ahead and go?
Okay, she's not going to go. Okay, Holly?
I'm Evelyn Cortez Ford.
Actually, I think it's because we're going to be talking about the school. Doesn't the school have a chance to speak during the presentation? This is just a point of order, if you would allow me.
No, it's an administrative recommendation. Normally, you would not, the school has had an opportunity to speak several times during the process, and
Okay.
tonight you're hearing an administrative recommendation
Okay,
from
Dr. Evelyn,
from
if
Mr.
you would.
Franco.
Thank you.
Signed up
Good
for public
evening.
speaking.
I'm Dr. Evelyn Cortez Ford. I'm a founder and principal at Spacious Skies Charter School. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight about our school, Spacious Skies. Spacious Skies was created to address an important need of students and families in the Pikes Peak region, an option for high-quality education through project-based learning for a diverse student population. Founders aspire to create a fully integrated, inclusive school. From research and data, we know that diverse student populations lack access to a high-quality curricula and instruction, suffer from low expectations, and are attracted to classes that fail to inspire or unleash their brilliance. As a result of COVID, students have experienced even more pronounced levels of trauma and disassociation from school. Spacious Skies is designed to support families who feel marginalized and or disenfranchised. While we know that many schools throughout District 49 successfully serve diverse students, it is important to note that District 49 does not currently have a charter school expressly intended to address the needs of a diverse student population. District 11 has Kearney, District 2 has Atlas. We want to be that school in District 49. We want to be a strong addition to the D49 portfolio of school choice options. Parents, especially at this time, are searching for a school that prioritizes the whole human. In this way, we are small, friendly, and inclusive. We engage families in authentic ways, plan for joy in learning, and acknowledge personal experiences. Spacious Skies does not fit every parent's need for a school. That's not our goal. We aim to attract a range of families whose best hopes for their children's education is to learn in an inclusive, humane, and joyful school. They are finding us and they want us. It is rare to bring such a school to reality. And I'm speaking specifically about a school for a diverse student population. This is especially true during times of COVID. Navigating through several obstacles, many that were created since our deferment, Spacious Skies has secured a facility lease, been awarded a startup grant of nearly $1 million over 4 years. We obtained the cash necessary to meet the CSP requirements and have exceeded intent to enroll commitments based on our revised budget of 150 students. Creating a school is complex systems work, and it takes many people to support a school to its successful opening. There are several starts and stops. We have had our setbacks, but we have also rebounded, made a plan forward, and secured partnerships that will help us succeed. We have that support in our finance, facilities, HR, and educational programming partners. We also have that with our founding families. They are a force of parents who found a school that they believe in. They give countless hours of their time and talent to create a school that fits their child's educational needs. They are significant partners.
Dr. Evelyn, thank you for your time. If you would like to include your statement.
To bring Spacious Skies this fall. Thank you.
If you would like to include your written statement. Veronica Coral. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Corral. I am immigrant. I am minority, and I have chosen Spacious Skies for my son. And as myself, I recognize the need for a school like Spacious Skies. We don't feel welcome everywhere, and I feel welcome in this school. And that's why I have chosen, and that's why I ask you for the future of this different type of school. This is different, and we feel welcome. No, in any other place we feel like this. And I have visited more than 20 schools, more than 5 school districts, and I'm homeschooling my son right now because I don't find what I need for him. I have found the school that I want for him in Spacious Skies. And if you take it away, you're taking away the opportunities we are looking for. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I have Leah, and I also have Holly. Leah, you're next.
Okay.
Please state your full name and relationship to the school district.
Hi, my name is Leah Carrasquillo. I'm actually a military spouse from Fountain Fort Carson 8. I actually found Dr. Evelyn through a Play Street Museum event, and I was wowed. As soon as I met her, I was willing to make the change right away for my children. Being a military spouse and a mom of 4, it's been quite eventful to find the perfect school to meet our family's needs. Now learning about Spacious Skies Charter School, the learning style, the curriculum, I'm certain we have found the perfect school for our family. After the year we have all had and we've experienced, I think Colorado kids are ready for something fresh and exciting. Being that it's been such a tough year for us all, us parents especially, we need a sigh of relief and some reassurance. I am certain Spacious Skies will be the rainbow after this storm. I am excited to have my children enrolled at Spacious Skies where they can have hands-on learning and grow into great leaders. Thank you, D49, for this opportunity, and thank you, Dr. Evelyn.
Thank you. If you want to include a written statement, you can bring it forward. And now we're on Holly.
Hi, my name is Holly Drake Gomez. I'm a mother to 10 children. I'm here to tell you why enrollment is not completed for all of us. I'm a deaconess in my church. I work for my church 12 hours a week in our life coaching business. I teach classes in the church Sundays and Wednesdays. I manage a thrift house 35 hours a week. I'm a bookkeeper about 10 hours a week. My husband and I own a DJ business. I have some side businesses that I run because I was bored. I'm a journalist. I'm helping open a brand new radio station. I'm on the Head Start Policy Council. I'm a founding member, family member here. I'm on the board here. I'm an active member of my MOPS group. I do a lot. Well, guess what? All of our birth certificates, social security cards, insurance cards, everything have disappeared in my home. I don't have time today to run down to the Citizen Service Center and replace those. That takes hours of work to replace all that documentation that you need, and I understand why you need it. I'm not saying it's wrong that you need it. I'm saying I haven't had the time in my day to go down there and sit and fill out documents for all these children to get all these paperworks that we need together. I'm not saying you're not busy or that your life isn't busy or that you don't have 15 things going on like I do. What I'm saying is please understand that we are parents. We are busy, we are workers, we are employees, we are doing things. I have started my application and I'm not on the list for some reason, which gives me some concern. But I do want to tell you, as a mother of 10 children, I've had a lot of experience in public schools. Lots. I have interviewed schools before putting my children in them. They thought I was weird. Spacious Skies is the best that I have found. I have children from 22 to 4. This is the best school I've found. I love that my ADHD daughters can attend Spacious Skies and have people that know them intimately since the school is small and the class sizes are small. The classrooms are tailored to them, meaning they can move if they need to. They can't do that in these other schools, guys. They can release their energy instead of sitting at a table or desk, writing and filling out worksheets all day. I love that Spacious Skies is project and joy-based. None of these schools are joy-based. They don't care if your kids are having fun. Do the work, pass the test. I can't have that with my ADHD children.
Spacious Skies will be addressed as a regular action item, but as far as critical race theory goes, this board has not addressed or approved any critical race theory curriculum for students and has not come before the board. And my understanding is the intent is it will not come before the board We hear a lot of chatter on social media that we're doing things that we're not doing as a school district. We've explained in at least 2 other meetings that our move is to focus on the positiveness of valuing all people, caring for our students and staff, and respect. And I think in the history of the United States, we can agree that that has not always been the case. It doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what your creed is, what your national origin is, what gender you are, what your gender preference is. We follow the laws of the United States of America and the state of Colorado. And it does not allow us to discriminate in any way, shape, or form against any color. And in Colorado, it doesn't allow you to discriminate against someone's hair as of last year. Now that is true. As a real estate agent, I found that out based on one of my classes that I take on ethics. So District 49 is about, we follow a cultural compass, and I've asked the administration to get it prominently displayed in this room. And one of those is how we treat each other. One of our strategic objectives is valuing all people. And in our cultural compass, it is respect and care and responsibility. So if you want to understand more about how we treat each other and how we treat our work, we can set up something to explain the cultural compass. We expect it of all staff, all teachers, all administrators, all board members, and all students. Basically, everybody that is in D49. And we look at D49 as a family, and family doesn't see our differences as a negative. We see our uniqueness as a positive. We don't say to the white kid, "You're bad." We don't say to the black kid, or the Asian kid, or the Hispanic kid, "You're bad." I've said it before here, on a microphone, in a public school setting, that we were all created equal. We all have the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that is granted to us by our Creator. And that words matter, and how we treat each other matter. So when I hear that we're doing something we're not, my initial reaction is, where does that come from? When I hear someone say, we're doing something that we're not, I try to educate them. We are focusing on treating everybody with respect and treating everybody equally. And I understand some of the concern is that some people have been treated in a discriminatory fashion based on race, based on religion, based on how they look, based on if they're heavy set, based on if they have a gender preference, based on a lot of different things. And that's not acceptable in D49. What is acceptable in D49, at the risk of repeating myself, is caring and respecting for all, so that everybody gets an equal education, finding out why some kids may not learn so well in one age group and maybe fall through as they progress. That's important to me. How we treat children that receive special education services, or that stutter, or that maybe have a home life that doesn't quite match whatever is generally accepted. You know what I accept? I accept children. And I accept those who want to work with children and want to educate them. And I don't care what you look like. I want you to feel valued. I want you to feel accepted. And I believe that's District 49 as a whole. We sometimes make mistakes. Individuals sometimes make mistakes. But we as a whole, our policies are to respect, to value, to treat everyone fairly, even if you're an athlete. We don't pick on kids, we don't pick on each other based on anything. Every child deserves the best education that we can provide based on the resources that our public tax voters provide us. It's not always the most that we want, but we make do with what we have. And again, we will treat everybody with respect and with care and value them. Everybody, regardless of all those before mentioned things. I hope that does address your concerns, and I understand that there are some concerns with how other school districts have implemented some of those things. But we aren't doing that here. We will not do that here as long as I am on the board and I can convince 2 other board members not to discriminate, not to pick on this color or that color. Everybody, as Martin Luther King said, will be judged on their character and not the color of their skin. With that said, I want to move on to our action items. Okay? So typically action items go very fast because we've already had a reading. We've already reviewed these things. We've already had time to ask questions and discuss things, and they've been open for the public for at least, 2 weeks? So that's what we're going to do now. Action item 5.1.
I move to approve the edits to the TOSA Special Education Compliance Individualized Education Program Specialist and the Individualized Education Compliance Assistant with an additional edit to the last position to correct the title of the Individualized Education Programs Specialist.
Second.
Any discussion? A vote, please.
Butcher.
Aye.
Cruzen.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Van Wieren.
Aye.
Now we have a new job description. Motion?
I move to approve the Gifted Education Specialist job description and position as recommended by the administration.
Second.
Okay, before we get into discussion, I want to state that action item 5.1 was passed. I think I forgot to mention that. And is there any discussion on this one? This is a new job description, and may I have a vote?
Butcher.
Aye.
Cruzen.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Van Wieren.
Aye.
Motion passes. 5.3.
I move to approve the filling of a programmer academic systems administrator instead of a data technician.
Second.
As part of this discussion, I'm going to bring it up on a future agenda item to have a policy set with coordination with the administration so that we don't have to approve every change that comes about. That if it's within, say, a business office or something like that, as long as it doesn't cost the district money, if they want to switch positions basically at no cost, that become a policy. I'm going to bring that up at a work session. I'm going to ask the board to review it, but we've got to kind of cut down, I think, a little bit on the minor administrative matters. That's my part of the discussion. Anybody else have anything else? Vote, please.
Butcher.
Aye.
Cruzen.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Van Wieren.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of unified improvement plans.
I move to approve the unified improvement plans for schools identified for improvement in 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? Before I call for a vote, we did discuss this one at length. It's for only a few schools, and we did talk about in the future having a executive summary provided. And with that, I ask for a vote.
Butcher.
Aye.
Cruzen.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Van Wieren.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have the 2021 supplemental budget for Fund 49.
I move to approve the 2021 supplemental budget for Fund 49 as recommended by the administration.
Second.
As part of the discussion, I would like Mr. Brett Ridgway just to briefly summarize this one because it's a budget issue. It's a finance budget issue.
This request is to take money that we currently have sitting in Fund 39, which is a COP repayment fund / capital fund balance acquisition, and move a a portion of those funds to Fund 49 so we can begin expending them in the pursuit of the new middle school project as we've been talking about.
Any further discussion? May I have a vote?
Butcher.
Aye.
Cruzen.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Van Wieren.
Aye.
Item 5.6. Motion?
I move to approve the 2020-21 supplemental budget for Fund 10 as recommended by the administration.
Second.
And I want to say that item 5.5 did pass. And any further discussion on this? Mr. Ridgway?
So we presented this in the work session last month, and this is again for the current year, this 2020/21 year. And this is a supplementary revenue that is being made available by the state legislature for this year, and we're really appreciative of that and had been hoping that this would come about all along. As we also hinted at in the last work session, the intention is for this additional revenue that will come in of $1.7 million to convert that all to a one-time payment to staff based on a formula that you have seen in board docs. There's a flat amount for every person plus a percentage of their base pay. And this amount would be basically roughly equivalent to having had a step increase this year as we would normally do because we were not able to do that with the initial constraints placed on the budget. We're recommending this in lieu of that step, and then we'll talk about step adjustments in the 21/22 budget for next year. So we have vetted this proposal with members of the leadership, also with a subcommittee of the VAL collaboration team, and have received strong endorsement across the board.
Okay. Any additional questions?
Maybe not questions, but
Please,
certainly I worked with Brett, and he shared with me as treasurer just the role in which we were facing and possibly nearing cuts. And that was not fun for Mr. Ridgway, not fun for us. This is the exact opposite. And I want to highlight that I am proud of the business office and Brett's work to make it and advocate for our staff. There was a time where people wanted Brett's head. This is the exact opposite. Brett is saying all of this money that's coming to us in this regard from the state is being used for people, staff, to recount and recoup that. I felt a lot of hostility back in those days where our teachers and our staff and workforce was very upset at us about the possibility of facing those cuts. I'm defensive. It sounds like it because I'm frustrated because it was so hard to hear people lash out at us. I'm celebrating this. This is Mr. Ridgway in the business office and our chief officer saying, hey, you folk workforce in D49, you count, you matter. Look at what we've been doing for you. Brett worked tirelessly to make this happen, and I'm very proud of him, and I'm grateful to all of you as a staff that we were able to award you this when that time comes. Thank you.
And I want to ensure that our staff and the public knows that this was one-time money.
Correct.
Provided to us by the feds or the state?
By the state.
By the state. And we're using it appropriately with how we're allowed to use it. And I know that sometimes when people get angst, it's because of miscommunication. And when people feel that their livelihood is threatened or their children are threatened, that they may come forward and not hear everything. So I want to make sure that our staff understands that we're still under a fiscal emergency for the rest of this year because we voted on it last year. We don't anticipate that to continue at all.
No.
Okay. And this is what we can do right now until, and then when the state passes their budget and we know how much money actually is coming to the school district, further planning will take place, as Mr. Ridgway has said. I think communication to the staff is key so that they receive this in the intent that it was meant.
Exactly, and that's part of the proposal that we have.
And that's why, and that's another reason why you're going through all the buildings.
Yes.
So ask those questions, staff.
Yes.
May I have a vote, please?
Butcher.
Aye.
Cruzen.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Van Wieren.
Aye.
Unanimously passes. Policy and procedure review.